Hello, this is Mahlena Ray Johnson with For Nerdy Girls with Mahlena Ray Johnson. And today our topic is me. Yes, you. You deserve to be in the room. Here's why. 1, white people. 2, you're an expert. And 3, if not you, who? And an article that I'm going to reference in the video is linked. So let's, today is, what is today? Today is April 17, 2018. So who am I? I'm Mahlena Ray Johnson, and we're doing some wardrobe experimentation throughout the videos now. So I have my cool blazer over my Schoolhouse Rock shirt. See? Okay. So let's see. Who am I? I'm still Mahlena Ray Johnson. I went to Loyola Marymount University for film school, and then I went to the University of Southern California for business school, where I got my MBA in marketing, entertainment, and entrepreneurship. And for the past 10 years, and probably before that too, I've done hundreds of informational interviews and coffee chats. I did one today. I've also gone to hundreds of networking events and conferences, and I have connected with thousands of people. So I'm immensely qualified to help you connect, collaborate, and communicate and build that network to help you succeed, whether you're trying to increase your clientele or trying to move up in your career. Also, I am a 4-time author. My 4th book, Love It Alua, will be coming out next month. Yay! All right, so let's talk about me. Yes, you deserve to be in the room. How did we get here? So on this weekend, I went to an event that was about queer writers in television. And through their stories of writing in television and writing in other mediums as well, or other media as well, I was reminded that we all deserve to be in the room. So if you're watching this video, you're probably someone who's like, I'm really geared up. I really want to go forward in my career or build my business. But then I get someplace and I feel like, oh, there's no one like me around here, and I feel really weird and awkward, and I don't want to talk to anybody. And they continue to remind me that you deserve to be in the room. And here is why. So I'm going to go through the 3 different things that reminded me of this. 1, white people. So white people, not white people in general, but I will give you specific examples. So 1 is the article that I referenced, which is called Starbucks Witness, Implicit Bias Exists and White People Need to Speak Up When They See It, by Monique Judge on The Root. So let me read to you. Okay, so Melissa DePino, whose video recording of the arrest went viral on social media, she says she visits that same Starbucks every day, and she was appalled by what she witnessed. And she happens to be a white lady. She says they were just sitting there waiting there for their friend. She said a Starbucks employee told the gentleman that if they didn't purchase anything, they would have to leave. But DePino said that there were people in the store who hadn't purchased anything for hours and they had no issue. Still, the employee, who wasn't DePino, a different person, called the police because apparently the threat of 2 black men sitting in the store without purchasing coffee proved too much for her, the employee. The employee, of course, was white. And there's other things that talk about implicit bias, but the thing that I wanted to focus on here was what Ms. Melissa DePino said. This is what DePino said happened to her. So many of my white friends were saying to me, there has to be more to the story than that, DePino said. It's so frustrating. DePino said she was asked by more than one person if it was possible that the men had done something she hadn't seen, if maybe they had been recognized because they had been to the same Starbucks on a different day and caused trouble. If it was possible, she hadn't seen the entire incident. So many people saw what happened, DePino said. We all spoke up. We followed the police out of the store. It was crazy. DePino says it upsets her that her fellow white people don't recognize an implicit bias is real. It's like they don't believe it because they don't see it, she said. But the truth is they do see it. They see it every day. Things happen to black people every single day that would never happen to a white person simply because of implicit bias. If I had gone in there and not ordered a drink, they never would have called the police on me, DePino said. So the thing that I want to focus in on there is not the actual incident, which has been discussed and discussed by many people, but the fact that that Ms. DePino, as a white lady, told her white friends, and they didn't believe her, even though there were witnesses and she had video. So that is something that I didn't realize was happening. Not the not believing part, but the conversations that are being had amongst white people, or not being had in many cases, because this is happening more often. So I'll give you an example that relates to this of when I was in business school. We're in my organizational behavior course, and we were talking about this was the day that we were supposed to be talking about racism, which is like, it was just one day, just 2 cases, and that's it. And then we're off of racism. We're going on to women, and it was like that. That in and of itself was a problem. You're only supposed to say have one thing to say. And I said in the class that the cases that were chosen were from the 1960s, and they're about Black employees and white employees at Xerox. Most of the people in my class were neither Black nor white, so why are we talking about this specific case, especially since we're in the 2000s by this time? But the thing that I noticed, which is similar to what Ms. DePino said, is that we read the cases, and there were white people in the class who clearly saw the racism present in the cases. There were white people in the class who clearly did not see anything racist with the cases. And my surprise came when the white people who saw something racist were like, how do you not see that that's racist? And the other white people would be like, well, I don't see what the racism is. And I was like, oh, because I had never had that experience of talking about racism. And seeing white people being like surprised at the other people. And that's why I want to encourage you to be in the room, because I had a specific experience that I was going through that none of those people was going through. And then there are other people who are like, I'm not Black or white. Could you talk about me? So there's so many experiences that bring something to the table that other people don't have. And you probably have knowledge. And now I have that knowledge of course I know that there's racist stuff in there. And of course I know there are white people that are going to get it. Of course I know that there are other white people who won't see the racist things that happen and will just be in denial about it. What I didn't know was that they didn't know that the other one was having this reaction. And I was like, oh, that's what needs to be happening. Because, as I told my spouse, a lot of conversation has been around, we need to just get together and talk. And I'm like, no, this is the situation that my country, the United States is in, is a problem that mostly white men created. So white people need to deal with it. But they don't all know how, and there isn't a further discussion of how these conversations can be started. And so many people are closed off, because I know I'm tired of talking about racism all the time. But if you don't have all the voices in the room to talk about a situation, you're not going to get further. And there's unique information, or not necessarily unique, because as I mentioned, I was the only Black woman in my business school class. So I wasn't a unique perspective, but I was also representing other people's perspectives that I thought about, who weren't Black and weren't white, and said something. And people said to me, oh, I'm glad you said that, who weren't Black and weren't white. And we're like, yeah, that is something that needs to be said. So you probably have some unique perspective, or a perspective that is not being put out there, that needs to be said so that you can help change the problem. Sometimes it won't always be received in the way that you hoped, because I don't think anything changed after I said, hey, why don't you have some updated cases, considering those cases were all made before both all of the students and the professor were born. But it's nice to be able to hear, when you put your voice out there, that someone else is thinking the same thing. All right, so 2, you're an expert. You are an expert. You are an expert on something, and probably multiple things that you're not even thinking about. For instance, I am an expert on things that no one could possibly care about. But I'll give you a specific example. Okay, so one of my business friends would put a post up on Facebook, and I think she was just complaining about TV, and I suggested a show that she watch, a Superstore, which I often talk about, and then someone else said, I love Superstore, and then we had a conversation about Superstore based on someone else putting out that they just didn't like the other TV show that they were watching. And I'm an expert on Superstore because I've seen every episode at least twice. And sometimes there's someone out there who is just waiting for someone else to say, oh my gosh, I love that too. So if you're an expert on something, maybe it's not Superstore, maybe it is boxed candy, or it is different types of apples, or different types of poodles, or places to go in Bali. Sometimes there's someone out there who is just dying to hear your expertise because they want to connect with you. And you need to be in that room for that other person to be able to connect with. Sometimes it can be really hard because you can't wear everything on you saying who you are and what you want. But if you put it out there, there may be someone that is waiting to catch it. All right. And 3, if not you, who? So I'll go back to the panel that I was attending this weekend of queer writers in television, and they all talked about their struggles, but also the fact that if they're not there, then no one's going to say that. No one's going to make up that cool idea that they had because they're often the onlys in the room, or they just bring something that other people can't put together in that sort of fashion because other people haven't had the experiences that you have. And if you're not there, it probably won't get done. And that would be unfortunate. You might be doing something else with someone else, and that is great. My point is that I want you to recognize that you deserve to be in that room, whatever the room is, whether it's a physical room, like you're at a conference, or you're at a mixer, or you're in a coffee shop at Starbucks. You deserve to be there, and you have something important to say, and other people want to hear it. Not everybody wants to hear it. I can tell you that lots of people don't want to hear what I have to say because they're just like, nah, what is she talking about? But there are people that want to hear you, and what I'm here to tell you is you need to find your people. Not everybody, just your people. And the more that you put yourself out there, it can be hard at first because not everybody is your people. But as you start emanating the things that you want to attract to you, the right people who are your people will start to be attracted. So, yes, you, me, you deserve to be in the room. Here's why. White people, which I explained with the Starbucks example. And you're an expert, you know something about many things that other people is just waiting to hear and talk about with you. And 3, if not you, who? There are people who will fill the room that don't have anything to say, but they will continue yabbering on because we're waiting for you to say what you have to say. And this is not a pressure for you to just start talking all the time. This is for you to start practicing a little at a time so it becomes easier once you enter a real room or a virtual room. So, as I say at the end of every video, please leave a comment or email me at fornerdygirls@gmail.com. And I always talk about my networking strategy sessions that are available. They're 30 minutes, they're complimentary, and there's other videos where I talk about that. But essentially, if you know that you want to start talking about how to take your career and your business to the next level through networking, but you're awkward and introverted, I can help because I am also awkward and introverted, but I know how to do things to make networking a little easier. The last thing I want to leave you with is to tell a friend. Please tell a friend if you know somebody who's not necessarily you, who may benefit from thinking about how to get to the next level through networking and who has said to you, I know I need to make a change. I'm feeling awkward. I'm feeling introverted, but who's going to help me with that? That's not a thing. What, a networking coach? That's crazy. Well, I'm a networking coach. So tell them about me and how I can help them, and that it's okay to be awkward and introverted. We work with that. We don't change who you are. We're going to change what you do. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.